Hello everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And for this video clip I'm going to share another interview. I'm getting such great feedback on these that I taped when we had our conference here about a month ago in Columbus. And one of our trusted associates and longtime friend and colleague, Dr. John Gindhart, is a chiropractor in Philadelphia area and agreed to an interview. And I call Dr. Gindhart the ethical chiropractor. And the reason I say this is because chiropractic is just like every other branch of medicine. You have some really good people who do great work, John Gindhart, for example. And then you have some people who over-test and over-treat, and chiropractors have gotten all tied up in selling a lot of supplements in their office and promising that chiropractic will solve any problem you have from hangnails to cancer and that sort of thing. I mean, we're all familiar with that type of chiropractor. I don't have a lot of respect for people who go that direction. So anyway, I've learned through my long association with Dr. Gindhart that he is the ethical chiropractor. He really works at whole person health, not just chiropractic adjustment, but how that fits in with the rest of health status. And his goal is for patients to not need him so much. And so I really do like health professionals that put their patients' interest ahead of their own. So I'm going to let you watch this video, and I think you'll enjoy what he has to say. You'll learn something about the right way to approach chiropractic health. And so enjoy this. And by the way, if every time I talk about our conference, some of you are probably thinking, gosh, I wish I'd been there. And if you're thinking that, remember, you can sign up for conference videos. You can watch the video version online. It's the next best thing to spending the weekend with us. And after you watch that, you'll probably want to come next year. So here's my good friend and colleague, Dr. Gindhart. Enjoy. Hello everybody, and welcome to Video Clips. And I'm taking advantage again of some of the distinguished guests that we have at our conference. We just finished the conference and it was pretty amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah.
This is Dr. John Gindhart. He's a chiropractor and an associate of ours in the Philadelphia area. And I have had so many requests to do something on chiropractic because I'm not a chiropractor, obviously. Mm-hmm. But you are what I call an ethical chiropractor. And so I wanted to talk to you because I think that you represent the best of chiropractic, the things that chiropractic does really, really well. And you stay out of areas that a lot of chiropractors tend to want to gravitate to, not so good. So first of all, just in a short sentence or two or five, tell what chiropractic really is. What's it designed to do? What is your work about?
So chiropractic, it's really interesting. It's back to even the original philosophy of chiropractic, that D.D. Palmer, B.J. Palmer. They talked about three main causes of dysfunction or illness in the body, and those traumas, thoughts, and toxins. And so traumas are physical traumas, falls down the stairs, things like that. Thoughts, mental and emotional stress, and then toxins are foods, chemicals, things like that. And so even from the original concept of chiropractic, it involved all of those three, and that you need to really look at those three. And even D.D. Palmer said that the major cause was emotional. It wasn't just the physical trauma. And so I think as a profession, we've gotten really kind of pigeonholed into the physical aspect of chiropractic and the adjustment, which is very powerful, but that in of itself doesn't have the potential to fully heal someone. So it's a mixture of looking at the full person, the whole body, and looking at those three aspects when someone walks in the door. And so as a patient, I'm really looking at the whole person. I'm looking at not just a spine. You don't see a big spine walking in the door. Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's a fully functioning person that's physical, that's emotional, that's spiritual. And I'm looking at how am I addressing this whole human person, not just the pain issue, not just the pain in the back or the knee or the headache, but the whole package, what's going on in their life that's leading to this point where their body's expressing these symptoms. And so how do I address that? And what's the best way for the patient? So the thing that they might need at that moment is an adjustment, but they also might need some counseling on nutrition or how to alleviate stress or exercise. And if that's the best thing for them, then that's what I need to deliver to them, and not just put everyone into a box that everyone needs to get the same protocol no matter what's going on with them.
Right, okay. So first of all, I've been to a chiropractor. I've had chiropractic care when delivered properly. It's very helpful.
Mhm.
Okay, what should somebody expect to get out of chiropractic? If you had an adjustment, for example, what should you expect?
Well, they should definitely feel better after than before. They should feel a return of function to their body.
Mm-hmm.
They should see some changes that they could actually notice.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be things that actually other people notice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had the experience with patients where they said that after the adjustment they went home and their spouse or a friend or someone at work said, there's something different about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're standing differently, you're moving differently. So it wasn't just, hey, I went and got this adjustment, I feel great. Other people are noticing the change in them. So it should be a noticeable change, an objective change that anyone could measure and see.
Okay. I'm intrigued with the idea that this whole person approach, because in my experience getting chiropractic adjustments, I've seen two aspects of chiropractic that I'm not very happy with. One is I adjust the spine, have a great day. And I've been to chiropractors like that. And then we have this other branch of chiropractic that seems to go off the deep end, promising chiropractic adjustments will fix everything, including inability to perform mathematics in eighth grade children, and supplement heavy and all this sort of thing. And so your view of chiropractic is quite different than some other people in the way that they practice. So could you address that a little bit and some of the ways that you think chiropractic might have meandered into some areas or practices that are not so great?
Yeah, so chiropractic has gone off into some areas that I don't think fully serve the patient. And I think my opinion is that they've done that because what they're doing isn't working. And so they're saying, well, what else can we add in? What else can we add in? Because what we're doing actually isn't working, so we need to add more and more and more. Instead of just getting to the basics and working with how the human body functions at a very simple level. And so I think if you're doing that, the person should respond well. But it's really being a good listener. It's taking the time to really understand what's going on with that person, and then delivering that piece of advice, that adjustment that's very specific and that can be helpful to that person. One example, a few years ago I had a patient come in that had chronic headaches and had a post-concussive syndrome and had tried all different things, medical doctors and so forth, wasn't responding to treatment. And so I did some adjustments because there's definitely some structural issues that were going on. But the more I talked to him, the more I found out that he wasn't drinking water. And I said, but how much water do you drink? He said, well, I don't like water, I don't drink water. And I said, I think you're dehydrated. I think that's your main problem. He's, no, it can't be that. And I said, well, let's do an experiment. Let's take 2 weeks, drink some water, come back in 2 weeks, and see how you do. And can we do that? He's like, all right, we can do that. So he came back in 2 weeks, and virtually all of his symptoms were gone. And that was without, a lot of adjustments or other interventions. It was just drinking water. But it was taking the time to listen and understand, and give them some very simple, practical, evidence-based advice of being hydrated, which helped with almost all the issues.
Right. So had you just done an adjustment and sent this guy down the road, may not have had much in the way of results.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Another example, a lady who was having this chronic right arm issue. And again, there's some physical issues which we worked on, but it kept coming back, and I'm like, this is really bizarre. But instead of just continuing to adjust, I asked her, well, what do you think's going on? And she's like, well, I'm not really sure. And so the more I talked, the more I figured out that she liked to run on the treadmill, which I'm not going to get great treadmill. So tell me about running on the treadmill. And what she was doing was she was holding on to the treadmill with the right arm.
Oh gosh. And
so she's running, holding on with the right arm all the time. I said, well, that's what's your problem, So let's figure out how to do this without causing the stress to the right arm. And so a week goes by, she comes back, she's like, that was it. No more pain. I'm like, great, see.
Well, and that's the difference between somebody becoming a chronic chiropractic patient. In other words, I come in for the adjustment, I go home and I run 3 times holding on to the treadmill, so I need another adjustment, so I keep it. So if you can get to the root of the problem, then you can give the person some relief and then show them how to solve the problem on their own permanently.
Yeah, my goal is to see my patients less, not more.
And that's very different.
Yeah, and so I'd love for them to come in and do a series of treatments, correct the acute problem, and then through education have them figure out and teach them how to do things to take care of themselves better, so they don't have to keep coming back to me over and over and over again. And so the more people do that, the less they need my services. Some people are in very physically demanding jobs, and so they require more care. But even so, educating them how to minimize the stress on their body will get them to a point where they can really understand how to take care of themselves, how to correct things, and how to use my services as needed when there's an injury, when there's an overuse injury or an accident or something of that nature, but not using me as a chiropractic aspirin. And so I think a lot of people tend to use chiropractic and massage and other body work as an aspirin instead of really taking the time to make the changes that will create long-term change in their life.
So addressing the cause.
Yours
is another branch of medicine that when used properly gets at the cause and addresses it, which may mean some mitigation of pain and discomfort, but the ultimate goal is to resolve it. Now if somebody wanted to find somebody like you in Idaho Falls, because everybody can't drive to Philadelphia to see you, what should somebody look for in a good chiropractor?
That's a great question because I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
My family or friend is located somewhere. So really it's having a discussion with that chiropractor, and you can discern some from their website too, just seeing what they're about. If frankly, if they're listing a ton of things that they do and tons of supplements and all these different things, I would be questioning of that. But I would see what their techniques were and what their basic approach is to healthcare. And sometimes it involves a discussion, calling them up and saying, tell me about how you approach this. And first, if they're willing to get on the phone with you, that's a good indicator. If they're willing to take time to answer questions and to educate, that's another good indicator. And really, a general idea of what their treatment plan is like. And if they can't give you an answer, or if it's last into eternity, that would be a question, right? But it is difficult, and a lot of times I actually do that for my patients, or I'll have them get a couple names, and then I'll look and I'll call the chiropractor and I'll talk to them because it can be difficult to really get in there. But it should be someone who's willing to take a critical look at what they're doing, willing to work with the patient, take suggestions, and really not think that what they're doing is the end-all be-all. And
whole person approach.
Yeah, the whole person approach. So it is tricky. It is tricky to find someone who's evidence-based, who's willing to put the patient first, and not just have an agenda that they're looking to just express that agenda with every person that walks in the door.
So you see yourself as interfacing with us. I mean, that's the way we see it too, because using some of the approaches that we have here, diet and education and that sort of thing, can enhance your relationship with your patients and help them to get better.
Absolutely.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of times when people come in, their primary issue is a lifestyle issue. It's what they're eating, what they're not eating, lack of exercise, stress. And the pain they're experiencing is just the latest symptom. And if we don't deal with that underlying cause of the nutrition and so forth, then they're just going to be coming back over and over again with that same issue. And so I really try and educate my patients as much as I can, as much as they're willing to listen. And sometimes it's just waiting for that opening, if they're really wanting to make changes in their life. To educate them on proper food and how to eat a de-inflammatory diet, getting enough sleep, movement, hydration, like all these things that 9 times out of 10 will clear up their problem, or not allow it to be chronic. There still, of course, might be some acute care that needs to take place. But if they're doing these things, the adjustments are going to be that much more effective. They're going to heal that much more quicker. They're going to get off of taking pain relievers, or even
avoid them altogether.
Avoid them, yeah. Or even the naturalistic approaches to pain relievers, right? Instead of popping the arnica all the time, or doing these other things that are still a mask for the underlying symptom. And so, learning what I have here with the Wellness Forum and applying that and making those resources available to the patients, that they can begin to be informed and make better decisions for themselves.
Okay, so chiropractors who might be watching this, we could interface with you and form a partnership like we have with Dr. Gindhart for whole person health.
Absolutely.
All right, well thank you. I wanted to do this for a long time and could not resist since you were here in Columbus for our conference.
I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah, me too. And what a great weekend this was.
It was fantastic. I highly recommend any chiropractors out there, you're looking to find some more tools that are evidence-based that really help people, not just in the short term, not just getting them out of pain, but helping them really to move the needle, to experience life down the road in a much more positive way, much more fuller way. Please come to the conferences, take the courses. This will change your life and your patients' lives.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you next time with more news.